Yeah. Uh, Welcome to the brainwash. Um, welcome to the brainwash. I did say last week that we should have called this call the brainwash, and I thought, you know what, let's do it, man, because this is true. It's so funny because the people that don't understand this information, they say like, "Oh man, you've been brainwashed," like it's a bad thing. I remember someone saying that to me, "Man, you've been brainwashed." I think it was my dad. Man, you've been brainwashed, and I was like, "Yeah, of course, man. My brain was dirty; it needed a wash." I had stinking thinking. And it's super important because I'm still in that brainwashing phase. This morning, the first thing I did when I woke up was I opened my phone and put the audio book "You Too Can Be Prosperous" just on. And it was just playing as I was brushing my teeth, as I was getting ready, as I was making breakfast, even as I'm talking to my son at the breakfast table, like it's just on in my pocket as I'm walking around. "You Too Can Be Prosperous" is the audiobook. I've been listening to the same audiobook for the last 5, 6 years of my life on repeat. Okay, because our minds are programmed by hearing information, the same information over and over again. So how you transform is through the same process. And you all know me. I shared last week. I've had some great mentors. God has blessed me with some amazing mentors. And I've always. Does everyone like the shades, by the way? Like Marmite, right? Love them or hate them, sort of thing. I'm still. I don't really wear them, but you know. I've I've had some great mentors, and why I said that is because there's a lot of noise out there in the personal development world. There's actual books. Do you know there's actual books on success from people that haven't actually created success, but now they're selling books, and that's actually how they're making money by selling books on success. That's how they're making money. They made no money before writing that book, but now they are from that book. So the last thing I want is for you all to go out there and just like guess and because you see books have energy. It's like the words. You understand that? So, like for me, when I go on YouTube, if I'm listening to like the AI version of Bob Proctor, I turn it straight off because I want the real energy of Bob Proctor. Like I listen to old school stuff like audio's 13 years old, 10 plus years old, where AI wasn't even out. I like to listen to those audios rather than AI versions of it. I remember, I forget, I was listening to Neville Goddard and he was talking about deleting apps off your phone. I'm like, Neville Goddard, hang on a minute. You didn't, there was no phones around when you, what you talk, oh, he turned it off immediately because I'm like, no, I want the energy of the information. All right, but guys, listen, if you're brand new to the call, obviously we have mindset calls as part of the system. It's super important that, you're working on yourself when it comes to your personal development. I was talking to Mr. Aaron Pope in the gym the other day, and I was saying, the key difference between the people that make it happen long term in this business are the ones that really take the subject of the mind seriously. Okay, can we get an amen in the chat for that? Because that's really the key, man. And I want you to study successful people. I guarantee they always talk about mindset. All right, so let's get right into it. The first thing you need to understand about achieving goals is that the wind blows on us all, meaning, it's not it's going to be what's that saying? The set of the sail that determines where you go. Okay. The wind blows on us all, meaning life is going to hit you in the face. You don't have a unique situation. You understand that? Every person on this line is going through their own version of trauma, their own version of adversity. No one's journey is the same. Like you see, if you ask God, the universe, for more results, which I'm guessing that's why you're all here, right? You're all here because you want to attract more results. And I'm talking to myself here right now. I'm just not talking. I'm actually I'm not talking to the crowd. I'm talking with the crowd. Like when you ask God for more, like when I ask God for more, I am fully aware that I'm about to be tested. You see, the word testimony, the first word in it is test, and you can't have the testimony without the test. You can't have the glory without the story. People want the glory without the story. They want the testimony without the test. So the second that you ask God for more, you now have to be built and strengthened into the sort of individual that can handle more, and that can only come from being put under pressure. How do you build muscle? We trained Big Nathan Webb, one of the latest builder pros. Shout out Nathan. We trained legs the other day. Nathan's a big guy, man. and he, and he came and we did an amazing session on legs, and he's still struggling. I think he's going to be struggling for the next couple of weeks. Um, but guess what we did? We put pressure on the legs. That's how you grow the legs. You understand that? So yeah, just understanding what growth entails is a major part of it. Because when you go through shit, which you will, instead of being instead of running away from it, you're going to embrace it. Instead of running away from it, you're going to be grateful for it because the other side of you getting over that problem is growth. And we're going to talk a little bit about that on today's call as well. So, but before I get into it, I want to talk about the key difference between, you winning and you not winning. Okay. I love this story. I talked about it a little bit today on my story mode, and it's the story of the acorn and how the acorn has all the. If you was to ask someone, hey, listen, does the acorn have an oak tree in it? And the answer is no, it doesn't. The acorn does not have the oak tree in it. The oak tree comes from the universe. Okay. But here's what happens. Okay. The oak tree is hardwired and designed. It's designed. It has no imagination. It cannot choose what it can become. But inside the acorn is a written program that, when in the right environment, will produce an oak tree. You see, if you had an acorn and you put it on your desk or your kitchen worktop, whatever you call it, side, it's not going to grow into its full potential. It has the potential to grow into an oak tree, but if it's not in the right soil, it's never, ever, ever going to attract the right energies, the right minerals, the right things that it needs to grow into its full potential. I want to make you all aware right now. I want you to see you as that acorn that you can see on the screen. You're that acorn. All right. It's a bit of a mad drawing. It's not really great drawing, really, when you look at it. But that's you, the acorn. And I want you to imagine the soil is elite. The soil is LMG, the team that you're a part of right now. You see that? And what happens is underground, you are going to start to now attract all of the right thoughts. You're going to attract all of the right actions. You're going to attract all of the right, you have the right vehicle with Elite. You have everything that you need. You're attracting it all right now. And by you doing the reps and doing the work and going out there every single day, you're going to start to grow things from you. Okay. Now remember, you're an acorn. I'm not talking about you. Like we mad, just start growing arms and that. No, like I'm talking about the acorn. Imagine you're an acorn. You're gonna start to develop. But guess what, man? You see that acorn, it's developing underground for a long period of time. It's developing underground in a long period of for a long period of time. That period of time is completely different for everyone. For me, it was 4 years until it hit 10,000 a month. I was developing underground. No one knew what was going on. The work I was doing wasn't making sense. I was putting way more work in than I was being rewarded. I was doing all this mindset work. I was doing all this crazy stuff. And it wasn't until 4 years later that God said, you have now developed enough to sprout from the ground and be known in the industry of network marketing as a six-figure earner. Now, what most people do is because they don't understand exactly what I've just talked about in the last 60 seconds, they end up digging up the seed and doubting the process. And they start to be reactive to outside circumstances instead of using their marvelous mind, which is why mindset is 95% of success. And they start to react and they end up going backwards when they were really 3 feet from gold. You were just about to strike. Actually put it inside the builders chat yesterday. Let me read what it says. Let me read what it says. Let me just go to it right now because this is important. I put it in there. Some of you saw it. Dear son, success often shows up after the boring phase, the doubt phase, the nothing is happening phase. If you push through that, boom, you can have it. You understand that, guys? This is drop a yes in the chat. Is everyone still with me? No one's crying already, are they? We got tears, yeah. I'm telling you right now, guys, You are all, this is a promise. Okay. We can't promise when the results are going to be. We can't promise anything. What we can promise is this. Us at LMG, here at Elite, Alex Morton, Jim Bratch, myself, Elliot Ward, the leaders running this company, we know how to create a fertile ground for anyone to become their best version of themselves. That is the truth. That's a promise. Okay. Now, obviously, like the Acorn, it has a program in it. It knows that it wants to become an oak tree. It doesn't halfway becoming an oak tree decide that it wants to become a peacock. It wants to become an oak tree. Okay. Now you need to decide, what do you want? This is now your program that you're going to program into your subconscious mind. What do you want? Are you all seeing the importance of knowing what you want? Because if you don't know what you want, it doesn't matter what ground you're in, you're not going to grow into anything because the universe doesn't know what to grow for you. See, the universe knows that the acorn wants to become an oak tree. Does the universe know what you want? What have you planted? Imagine your subconscious mind is the soil, like the acorn is inside the soil. Is what have you planted inside your subconscious mind for it to grow? What have you planted? Decide what you want. That's why I said write down exactly how much money you want to be earning for you and your family at the top of your page. Then you need to genuinely sit down and think about why you want it. I was talking to an individual today, and he claimed to not have the time to build his business. And after asking him a few questions about what he's doing with his time, I realized that he did not have time. He just wasn't managing his activities. This individual, he wasn't prioritizing his goal. As he was focused on short-term pleasure and about to experience long-term pain instead of completely flip-flopping it, which is what successful people do. And we focus on short-term pain to produce long-term pleasure. But the cool thing about this business, guys, it's not really painful. Let's be honest. It's not really painful. It's handling rejection is the thing which most people trip up on in this industry. But when you work on yourself, when you work on your mindset, you're going to be able to overcome that objection. And I promise you, once you eliminate the fear of rejection, you become that's actual true freedom. I'll be honest. Once you can handle rejection, and I mean really truly handle it, you are now a free human being because you don't need anyone else's approval. You look at yourself in the mirror every day and say, yes, I love me. I love my life and I love me. And that's success. Drop a yes in the chat if you agree with me. That's success. Loving your life and loving who you are, regardless of anyone else's opinion. That's success. And that's what this industry can build you into, that sort of individual. So decide why you want it. It's something that you definitely need to. And I said to him, listen, you need to maybe sit down with your spouse and really like understand that you are going to have to sacrifice to build this business. You need to set up your life so you can actually go out there and make it happen. Okay. Now, it's not about are you able to win in this business? It's about are you willing to win? So can we please just let go of the whole able question? Just stop it. Like Leo Casa doesn't have, by the way, bro, great job on that presentation. Leo Casa doesn't have more God than you. Jin Bratch doesn't have more God in him than you. Alex Morton doesn't have more God in him than you. Okay. If someone can do it, you can. I have no choice but to believe in people because there was a time when I genuinely shared a tin of tuna with my cat. Like my cat loves tuna. My wife today was feeding Charlie the cat some tuna. Yes, okay, my cat's called Charlie as well. I had the cat before I met my wife. All right. So she was feeding the cat tuna, and I was like, it's mad how like he still loves tuna because of his kitten days when I used to genuinely share tins of tuna with him. So I know where I've come from. No influence on social media. None of my friends took me seriously. Didn't have 15,000 followers when I first started this journey, guys. Didn't have 6,000 followers on Facebook. Didn't have over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I had nothing when I first started this journey, and I've built it. So it's not about whether you're able. Are you willing? Are you willing to get up before everyone else? Are you willing to read more books than everyone else? Are you willing to reach out to more people than everyone else? Are you willing to be rejected more than anybody else? Are you willing to change the way you dress? Are you willing to change the way you talk? Are you willing to change the way you walk? Are you willing to change your sunglasses? Are you willing to wear sunglasses inside? I don't know. right? That's between you and you. So once you decided all these things, I'm going to talk about something which I've never talked about on today's call, all right? Uh, which is the four bases to success, which is number one, who do you listen to? You know why I teach this stuff? Alex Morton teaches it. I'll just steal it, just rob and duplicate. Who do you listen to? I remember when I heard Alex talk about this, I was like, this makes sense, man. If your goal is to do 10,000 a month, it doesn't make sense to listen to someone who hasn't made 10,000 a month. I'm sorry, but it just doesn't. Now, what I will say about this industry is this. Let's say, for instance, you are working with your leader and your leader is making 2,000 a month. You can listen to that individual. Why? Even if your goal is 10,000 a month, why? Because your leader who's making 2,000 a month, he or she is being mentored by someone making 10,000 a month. So the line of communication is still correct. You understand that? So it's not just about only listening to the main top leader. Like I don't have to talk to Alex Morton every day because I can talk to Jim Bratch every day. Is this making sense? That's the cool thing about this industry. You've got sub leaders who are being mentored by people that are in the position that you desire to be in. So who are you going to listen to? Just because you decide to listen to someone doesn't mean that they are better than you. It does not mean that they are a better person than you. And when you submit, it's actually a strength. You see that? It's actually smart for my wife to submit to my leadership. Why is that? Why? So I can go out there, do what I have to do to create the best life for her. She loves it, trust me. She's like, man, yeah, this is a great, this is great. This is fantastic. I love having a leader to submit to. Why? Because guess what? I'm a very simple guy. If I get stuck at any moment, you know what I can do? Pick up the phone, say, hey man, what's your perception of this? What would you do if you was me? Perfect, thank you. Boom, boom. No thinking involved, just using what's called common sense and listening to someone who has the results. You see how smart that is, guys? Super, super simple. Now, when you are when you have decided that this is going to be the person that you listen to, now you have to actually, and this is a constant daily situation. Joseph, I see Joseph on the line. What's going on, brother? He come up to me Nottingham and asked me a good question about how I stay on the frequency essentially how I control my mind, right? And I said to him, I said you have to think about what you're thinking about. And right now what I'm doing is I'm reading to my son the 21 laws of manifesting money. That's what I'm reading to him every day before bed. And today's chapter was about asking yourself the question, am I aware, as many times as possible throughout the day? Because just when you ask your question, when you ask the question to yourself, am I aware? What you're asking yourself is, am I aware of what I'm thinking? Let me tell you something, and this is going to sound like so common sense, but this is just the truth. If you are feeling good, that's because you are thinking about what you want. It's mad, isn't it? And if you're feeling bad, it's because you're thinking about what you don't want. Man, I can't break it down any simpler than that. That's the truth. If you're genuinely focused on where you're going and what you're excited about and why you're learning this and you're excited about the vision of your future life that you're manifesting, you're going to be feeling great. If you're thinking about your past, if you're thinking about all the reasons why it's not going to work for you, if you're thinking about all the reasons why it can't work for you, guess what, guys? You're not going to be feeling very great. Kath has never felt this great in a long time. I said to Kath today, I said, listen, I'm excited to be in Jamaica with you. Like everyone's going to be watching Mark Asetta, Alex Morton. I'm going to be watching Kath, just watching Kath, man, just like evolve on the spot. I can't wait to see that, to be honest. But yeah, you have to ask yourself the question once you decide who you listen to. What is my willingness to learn times my willingness to change? Learning's easy, man. You're on the call right now. This is so easy. Some of you not even got your cameras on. Some of you chilling back. Some of you like half asleep. I don't know what some of you are doing. And by the way, I can actually see you with your camera off. I've got this mad setting on Zoom. I've had like a real premium. I can see people's cameras, like even when they're not on. So I kind of know what you're doing. But you get what I'm saying? There's some people right now, like just cruising. This is so easy to learn. Now, changing though, this is where things really get to interesting. I often share that you can't spell the word challenge without change. But Here's what I've learned, and I was talking to Leo about this in Nottingham. I said, change, change is easy when we decide to change. We have to make you like I can't Jake Parton cannot help you change. Only you can help you change. You need to decide for you that it's that you can change. Have you noticed that when someone else tries to change you, you resist it immediately? You resist it. So being coachable is a skill. You have to come to the call with your mentor fully open-minded and willing to basically in a click of the finger, let go of what you know and what you think is correct and actually just accept what they know and what they think is correct. Now, I'm not saying like be like fully gullible and don't do any thinking for yourself. I'm saying once you ask a particular question about an area in your business, then I'm not saying you know what I'm saying, but guys, like obviously I've got a personal life, I've got a health and fitness life, whatever. Like, but if you ask me a question about like network marketing, in that moment, you have to come to that situation and ask yourself, am I aware? Am I being teachable and coachable? And the ones that can really learn this, these are the ones that get speedy results. Is everyone still with me? Yeah. The third basic is the success balance scale, mindset and skill set. There's two sides to success. This is deep now. Now we're getting really interesting now. 1% is the physical, 99% is the spiritual. Let's look at the 1%. This is the work. This is the inviting. Okay. This is the presenting the business. This is asking the closing questions on the phone, by the way. No texting. Okay. I know some of you like trying to shortcut the shortcut. Network marketing is the shortcut. Don't shortcut the shortcut. Um, Closing, social media content, talking to people, showing up to calls just like this. This is just 1%. Action, taking massive action. That's 1%. Strategy, 1%. Now, am I saying that you put 1% of time into doing that? No, I'm not saying that, guys. I'm saying success is 100. Everyone put 100 in the chat. Let's see some hundreds in the chat. Success is 100. It is. It's 100%. So you need both sides, man. You need to take action. In fact, you have to take ridiculous amounts of action to create success. I want you to imagine the level of action that you think it takes. This could be actually a bit of a depressing thought for people, but the second I actually swallowed this pill, this truth pill, my life got better. There's a Grant Cardone's got a book called The 10X Rule. I never forget. I read in his book. He said, Jake, he said, Jake. I always imagine that I'm speaking to him. He said, I want you to imagine. I want you to imagine the amount of work that you think it's required for you to hit your goal. And I imagined it. And he said, now I want you to times it by 10 and understand that that's the reality, which can be quite a depressing thought. But don't forget, if the why is big enough, the how is easy. You understand that? Like right now, we're on day 3 of this like 10-day challenge. I'm like 3 kg down. It's so easy for me to stick to this diet. Do you know why? Because I've got a big reason why I need to stick to this diet. You understand that? So the bigger the why, the easier the how. So guys, listen. 1%. Now, 99% is the reason why you're on this call. It's the mind. It's where's your mind set? Is your mind set to win or is your mind set to lose? Is it set to attract prosperity or is it set to attract poverty? Okay. So the only way you can really take a look at that is by taking a look at the results in your life right now. If your results are improving physically, that means your mind is changing. Your mind is slowly changing. It's literally biologically scientifically impossible to think about prosperity for 51% of the time and for your lot and for you to not then attract more prosperity. Whatever you're thinking about most, whatever your mind is set to most, is what you're going to start to attract. It doesn't happen overnight, but it happens over time. Okay. Frequency, this is the frequency that you're on. How do you get onto the right frequency? I talked about this before. You talk to someone who's on the frequency that you desire, which is why who do you listen to is the key to success. I've just got a text from Mr. Alex Morton. Okay, just by me reading this text and just answering this text and going back and forth, I'm tapping into Alex Morton's frequency. Your network is your net worth. Okay, frequency. I said to someone earlier, I said, listen, you want to go to the nicest places possible in your area because the frequency is different there. Just by you changing where you have a coffee, changing where you shop, changing your standards around where you hang your environment, that everything's got a different, like McDonald's has got a different frequency to what's that restaurant in is it called 43? I think it's called 43 on Mayfair. Okay, you understand that, right? It's a different 34, there you go, 34 does amazing burgers. Different frequency, completely different frequency, right? There's different level, different class of people in there. You're all a part of the elite. That you've decided to become a part of the elite class. So it makes sense to go where the elite class people go. Change your frequency. Okay. Next is energy. Like energy strategy, like energy beats strategy 10 times out of 10. This is why you got to phone people. You can be productive over text, but you can be effective on the phone. Energy beats strategy every single day of the week. This business is built on mindset. And for the ones that want to go and basically compress time frames, is you actually being outside your comfort zone and relying on energy more than strategy, making the phone calls that you don't want to make, having a goal, thinking about your goal. I've got a goal card right here, right now, on my laptop, looking at me right now as I'm speaking to you. Your goal tells you who you are. If you don't have a goal telling you who you are every day, your bank account will. Dream building, super, super important. Are you talking about your future? Are you talking about what you're going to do when you have the money? Are you talking about what you're going to do when you quit your job? Are you imagining it? Are you planning it out? Are you planning for success or are you planning for failure? Have you thought about where you're going to invest your money? Right? Little things like you want to be dream building, having dream boards, etc. And shout out to Maya. Maya came to the Everyman Cinema last week, and she didn't care what anyone thought about her, and she's there. She just built this dream board right there on the table in this restaurant, and it was like, wow, love it. Imagination, like this is big as well. Like when you ask yourself the question, "Am I aware?" I want you to sit and think, like, what am I thinking about? As the best. I love, as I'm going to sleep. I'm going to go to sleep tonight and I'm going to be in my imagination and I'm going to do my very best to tap into the feeling of the wish fulfilled. The feeling of the wish fulfilled. If your goal is to do 10,000 a month and above, drop a yes in the chat. If your goal is to do 10,000 a month and above, you can't have thoughts like, one day I will be earning 10,000 a month. Because if you say I will be earning 10,000 a month, you're not earning 10,000 a month, are you? You will be. Oh man, when I get to 10,000 a month, like, and you start to think when, and you think I will. And it's a bit of a fine line because I talk about dream building, but you also need to understand that you have to start to change the conversations that you have in your mind. I want you to think as if you kind of have there's like an emotion of mist, right? Not Mist the rapper. I want you to imagine like mist, right? And you have to be able to, the mist represents your current circumstances. You have to be able to come above the mist and actually think, what thoughts would I be entertaining if I was already at 10,000 a month? What would I want? What would I be looking for? How would I respond? Would that be expensive or would that be cheap? You see, when someone says, man, that's expensive, you need to actually think, hang on a minute, I'm earning 10,000 a month. That's not expensive. That's very cheap. Congratulations, you've just tapped into the 1% club. You've just tapped into how leaders think in this business. You're using your mind. It's a game of chess, this business. Life. Is this making sense? I just dropped a serious nugget there. You have to think, what if you was already earning the money that you want to be making? What thoughts would you entertain? I had someone, he knows who he is. He put in the chat the other day, where's the link for tonight's call? I said, brother, you told me your goal was to do visionary. Would you ever, ever, ever see a visionary ask that question in a group chat? The answer is no. The answer is no. So before you do anything and everything, I want you to question, would a visionary do this? Would a visionary ask this question? Or would a visionary know the answer? Would a visionary go and find the answer? Would a visionary go to their mentor on a one-on-one basis and ask some questions and make sure they're thinking correctly? So before you do anything, you need to be really, really thinking. This is the key, man. This is the key, what I'm talking about right now. Emotions, what emotions would you want to be, one of the things that I'm bringing my son right now, it's mad. I might just get this book out in a minute. Um, is actually pretending that every person that you see, you're gonna give them some money. You can even write out a list of like, I want you to imagine you've got 100,000 of pretend money but you have to give it away. You have to give every single penny of it away. I want you can actually write down a list of people's names and put how much you'd give them next to their name. And you can actually sit there and imagine giving them that amount of money in the way that you would. Would you take them to a restaurant? Would you give it to them in an envelope? Would you take them shopping and surprise them? Would you tell them to open the glove box and check the glove box? Would you buy them a brand new handbag and tell them to look inside the handbag and find a purse and tell them to look inside the purse and reveal that on that credit card and tell them how much is on the credit card? How would you give them the money? And then I want you to imagine how the reaction that you get from them, how grateful they would be, their reaction. You could probably hear their scream. You could probably feel their hug. You're just hugging, just like hugging and just saying, I can't believe it. This can't be true. You probably have some people do what my dad did originally and actually turned it down. I never forget when I started making money, you know what I did? Oh man, I went to the shop, I bought my little brother, like loads of games. Guys, I've been dreaming of this moment. This thing, you see, I never tell people to do what I don't do. I do this stuff. And one of my things that I imagined was going to the shop and buying my little brother a massive game console with loads of games. And I did it, and I gave it my brother. You know what my dad did? He demanded that I took it back to the shop. But dad's not a bad person. But they don't do this stuff. This is not the world they live in. It was too good to give him, apparently. That upset me, It confused me. It confused me. Now I've got kids, I can do what I want. I have some fun now. I can't go. Yeah, they're gonna learn. But you know what I'm saying? Like I'm like, I know there's some people like me on the call as well. Like when you've got money, drop a yes in the chat. Like when you've got like an abundance of money, which you do right now, coming towards you. But like when you have that money physically, you're gonna give a lot of it away. Am I correct? You're gonna give a lot of it away. You're gonna help a lot of people. You're gonna spoil your loved ones. Of course, man. That's why we're here. So I was super confused when I was like denied that. But hopefully your situation is like mine, and you've got people that actually like, yeah, man, thanks, right? Which is what I'd be. I'd be like, Dad, thanks, man, legend. But yeah, faith, love, gratitude, attitude, and the words that are coming out of your mouth. A really good book is called Hung by the Tongue. Really, really good book to study. It's only a short book. You can read it in about half an hour. If you're a speed reader, maybe an hour max. Um, and it's a really, really good book called Hung by the Tongue. Very, very good book. But words are super important, man. Don't speak struggle. Don't speak things that what you speak about, you bring about. The term abracadabra actually means what you speak about becomes. And it's truth. Our words are like spells. Don't ever, ever, ever conversate or talk about things you don't want to show up in your life. Everything in your life today you spoke about or someone spoke to you and you wasn't thinking, you've let it come into your life. This way you can't just hang around anyone and everyone. Because what they're talking is going into your sub and you're going to attract it. This is why environment's way more important than anything. I don't just hang around anyone and everyone. I don't. You have to be a grower. You have to be on the frequency of I'm growing, I'm moving and grooving, I'm coachable, I'm winning. Da, 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 da. Okay. Next is the fourth phase of growth. Okay, I'm about to wrap this thing up like a Christmas present. Don't worry. There's four phases of growth. You go from unconscious incompetent, meaning you don't know what you don't know. You cannot escape from a prison that you don't know you're in. So, and then you go from unconscious competent to basically conscious incompetent, meaning now you know that you're losing. That's the first step, being aware that, oh, no way, so I'm in a prison and I put myself here by my thinking or lack of thinking. But the cool thing is that now, because you're aware of that, you put yourself there. You're aware that you're the problem. Now, you're also aware that you're the solution. That's the cool thing about this, life in general. It's not the cards you're dealt, it's how you play them. We're all dealt different cards in life. Everyone has a different Mount Everest to climb, every single person. So it's not about who you were, it's about who you are today, right? That's the key. And then now you're becoming a conscious competent. Now you're like, wow, yes, I'm talking to people. I'm creating a new habit. I'm posting on my social media. I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. I'm calling people. I'm actually asking questions. I'm genuinely starting to become interested in people, in the mind, how the mind works. Like when someone says no to this opportunity, instead of getting all reactive, you're like, wow, that's interesting. You understand that the reason why they've said no, even after telling you they want money, location, and time freedom, is not because they're an idiot. It's because of their program. It's not them saying no, it's their subconscious mind passing over opportunities repeatedly. They've got a poor mindset. Don't burn bridges. Like keep an open line of conversation, stay in touch. And what happens is eventually they're either going to hate you and unfollow you and become a hater and a loser and an idiot like they potentially were, or they're going to join your business, man. That's how it works. So now you're becoming a conscious competent and eventually it becomes a habit. It becomes like so habitual. You just like boom. You don't even think about it. It's just natural, and that's the stage that you need to get through, and that's the stage which most people don't get to because of the acorn, like I just told you. It's an uphill battle, but once you get there, guys, it's like driving a car, man. Some of you drive now and you have no idea how you even got to a location. You're like, how did I get here? Some of you put makeup on while you're driving. You're texting while you're driving. You're doing all sorts. I mean, I was driving back from Nottingham. I was singing like mad. The journey went like this. I completely forgot where I was. I was on stage somewhere singing. Do you know what I mean? In my mind, but I was driving my car. So we do it unconscious, and that's how you're gonna be able to build this business and create success. All right, drop a yes in the chat if you're still with me. Perfect. Love it, love it. So next 38 days, we've got 38 days until May 30th. Wow, May 30th. If you've got your ticket for May 30th, drop a yes in the chat. Drop a yes, I have in the chat if you got your ticket for May 30th. This is going to be, I am so excited for this event. I'm excited to see everyone in one room. Alex Morton, DJ, everyone is going to be there in the UK, man. How cool is that? For the official pre-launch event, May 30th is going to be crazy. You've got 38 days to lock in. Me, Jin, and Elliot had a conversation with Alex Morton and the CEO, DJ Parton, 2 days ago. And they were talking about, man, listen, the ones that take advantage of this period of time, building the biggest organization between now and May 30th, they're going to be the ones that become the future millionaires of this company, the future six-figure earners of this company. Trust me. So now is the time to lock in before you're ready, even if you don't feel ready. That's not how, remember, success doesn't work like that. When an opportunity comes, it's too late to prepare. I would personally lock in. Okay, what would you lock in on doing? Okay, I would personally be working from the goal. I'd always study every day. I'd be hosting my own events. I'd be willing to change. I'd sacrifice when it's inconvenient. I'd rely on discipline. I'd be locked in on my vision and I'd follow the system so that makes sure that you're effective. Here's what most people will do. Hopefully, you're not falling into this category. Hopefully, this is a 3% call. What they'll do is they'll walk towards nothing. They won't set a goal. If they do set a goal, they're working towards it, not from it, mentally and emotionally. They're never going to study the mind. They're never going to wake up and work on their mind. They're not going to show up to events. They're going to think this just happens overnight. But it's crazy for me. Like each market we go into, we say, listen, you ideally want to have 2 events a week. Hypothetically, an hour on a Tuesday, hypothetically, an hour on a Thursday. All right. Just like football, right? You got football training, you got match day. And you will be amazed at how many people struggle to commit 2 hours of physical presence for their goals and dreams, but they will do 8 hours of physical presence for someone else's goals and dreams. You will be amazed at how many people struggle to just put 2 hours of their physical body into a certain location for themselves and their families over 8 hours for someone else, which is why they remain the 97%, which is cool. They're willing to learn. They're not willing to change. They sacrifice when it's convenient to them. Guys, I didn't want to travel to Nottingham. I did 9 hours driving on my birthday. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be with my kids, man. But I had to rely on discipline. I had to sacrifice when it's inconvenient. Okay. They rely on motivation. They're fired up one day. They're like a yo-yo. If you're in and out, your business will be in and out. If you're up and down, your business will be up and down. And no one's really going to take you serious. Okay, so they're not saying no to elite, they're saying no to you. They're like, well, you might be excited right now, but I don't know if you're going to be here 2 months from now because you can't even stick to a diet. One day you're happy, one day one day you're not. One day you're lazy, one day you're motivated. I'm not going to join you. You think you're saying no to elite? No, no. They don't believe that you can lead them anywhere. Why? Because you can't lead yourself anywhere. Oof, man. That's all of this business. It keeps you sharp. You have to become a leader. Who wants to be a leader? Me. You know the only person, the first person you have to lead. You. If you can't lead one, you can't lead many. Let's at least lead you. That's why this whole 10-day challenge thing, I've put it together. I put this 10-day challenge together so everyone can focus on leading yourself just for 10 days. We're on day three. Who's still with me? I'm locked in, man. I wish this was squash. It's water. Can't have squash. Sugar. So dry and bland. But I love it. Because every sip I'm like, winner. Focus on circumstances and they wing it. All right, don't be that person. Okay, I'm gonna quickly go break down this. The reason why, guys, it's so scary to do something which is logically makes sense. Like, for example, calling up your mentor and saying, "Hey, listen, can I take you for a coffee and give you my list of people so you can invite them to the webinar for me?" Every leader on this line will say yes to that request. But the reason why you don't do it is because your X-type conditioning, your programmed mind is so strong that your goal right now isn't as strong as your program, which is why we say to people, how bad do you want it? What's your why? Because the deeper and more intense the why, the easier it is to overcome that stinking thinking, that internal bitch voice, that paradigm. You understand that? Now, here's the crazy thing. Once you do it, we witnessed this when we came on the tour. The first phone call was always the worst one. And the second they did the first phone call, man, it was like opening a floodgate. It was like, boom, yeah, boom, yeah. Because what they realized was that all of that fear was false evidence appearing real. Fear, false evidence appearing real. Fear doesn't exist. We created it ourselves. We're in our own prison. The second you start taking action on this business, you are now free of the program. Man, that's how it works. So next steps, get a ticket for May 9th. We're going to be in London building the business together. That's going to be crazy. Could someone put the tickets in the chat or maybe re-blast them in all the group chats? That'll be great. And obviously everyone needs to get their ticket for May 30th. If you're working with Jake Parton or any of my leaders and you don't have a ticket for May 30th, that is the first step. There's no point talking about making money in this business if you're not going to be in London on May 30th. I know some of you are commitments that you can't. That's all right. But if you don't have like a death in the family or a baby being born, I would highly recommend being in May 30th in London. Okay, get clear on the goal and action plan. If you're struggling with the action plan again, reach out to your leader. We have a builders chat called the Elite Builders. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're added into that. Again, I've had another person reach out to me. Can you add me into that group chat? I said yes. Put me in 3 group chats, and I'll plug you straight in. Meaning the frequency in that group is motion. It's moving forward because you're only as strong as your weakest link. You're only as strong as your weakest link. You understand that? So you want to be in action, and then we're going to add you into that group chat. And then obviously, guys, listen, we have a call with Alex Morton. It's going to be obviously a little bit higher frequency standpoint, the conversation will be a little bit different to the one that we had previously. He's going to be doing a complete mentorship call just for the builder pros and above next Tuesday. So if that's not a goal to set, I don't know what is, to be honest. Builder Pro, six people left, six people right. Some of you are closer than you think as well. And by the way, a quick update on that. The system right now, the numbers in the back office are not the true representation of what they actually are. Right now, the company is having like a credit card processing upgrade, and everything's going to be readjusted for those that are. There was a message put into the Telegram channel as well, but all good, guys. This is what happens when you join a brand new company. But again, the ones that are locked in and they understand that whole process of business, like building any business from scratch. There's going to be situations where it's not. I said to someone last night, I said, there's going to be some people that are waiting for this company to be absolutely prim and proper and absolutely perfect. And those people have missed the opportunity when they join. Everyone who trusted the vision, everyone who believed that the leaders and that the normal people, they've got common sense, they understand that things need to be fixed, and they're going to actually go ahead and fix them. They're the ones that are going to be rewarded, man. Is everyone with me with that? Does everyone understand that whole concept? If you were building a business from scratch, there's obviously going to be things that only action will reveal. So when you start to test the business, there's going to be things that couples, oh wow, cool, that needs fixing, that needs sorting. That's what's going on right now in the company, and I find it really, really exciting to be honest. So you want to observe the masses do the opposite. The masses panic, and winners they stay composed. Okay. And last thing I want to share, guys, is this: be proud of yourself. Um, tell three people today that you love and appreciate them. I want you to forgive your enemies. I want you to write a goal card and carry it everywhere with you. And guys, you see this: forgive your enemies. Don't take that part lightly. Forgive is not for them. Forgive is for you, so you can move on. You can't live your life with resentment. And then turn your car into a classroom. Okay, you are a winner. Okay, put I am a winner in the chat. That is the end of the call. We're gonna post the recording in the group chats. I love and appreciate every single one of you. I really enjoy doing these calls. Like I said, next week's gonna be Alex Morton, and the week after is gonna be Mr. Jim Bratch. It's gonna be an amazing one. I love you all, guys. Let's stay locked in. I need to have some food before I pass out. God bless. Let's go. Speak soon. Bye bye.